Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we are getting ready to do some more work on this unusual folio. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the inside spine. And let me get the prototype and show you what that looks like. That is this right here. And so what you're going to do is cut another piece of chipboard and get a piece of fabric. And you don't have to use fabric, you can use paper. I just used fabric, and I keep using fabric, and so I'm going to use fabric today. But if you want to cut a piece of paper, if you're cutting fabric, you want it to be 10 inches by about 4 inches, 4 or 5 inches. And if you do paper, you want it to be 9 inches, because see, the fabric we're going to double over, but the paper you wouldn't need to do that. So fabric 10 inches, paper 9 inches, and then 4 or 5 inches wide. Okay, and you're going to need grommets and all that good stuff to do this. So, or at least the way I do it. You know, of course there's always other things you can do, so I'll leave that up to you. I'm going to pick this fabric. I went to a fabric store and went crazy and bought a bunch of cute fabric, and so I've decided I'm going to try and do greens and natural kind of looking stuff in here. And I saw this fabric, I thought, oh, I got to use this fabric, and it's got green in it. It's a little crazy with the birds, but we'll see. I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to cut 10 inches. I guess I'll just flip it over and use ink. I was going to rip it, but I think I'll just draw it on here. So grab my ruler. And I want it to be like 4 or 5 inches wide. I'm going to do 5 inches. And then I'll come up here and measure 5 inches up here. So something like that. I work on these baking sheets, and sometimes it's convenient, sometimes it's not. I have a baking sheet rack that I keep all of my projects on, so each baking sheet has, you know, a different journal or a different project on it, which is, I love it. I got that from Carolyn Dubé, and I love it, but sometimes the lip on these pans is not the best idea. But, and then I measure 10 on this line. But the good outweighs the bad, so I keep using them. And I could just take them off and work on my table and move it to a tray, but I haven't seemed to have been able to train myself to do that yet. Okay, so let me cut this fabric out. Of course, my fabric scissors are on the other side of the wall, and I don't feel like getting up, so I'm going to use these scissors that are not good, but I guess they're going to work for me. Okay, so there's my piece of fabric. And it's going to go there, and it will be able to turn under. Here's my scrap of Captain Crunch box. And so this is 2 inches by 9. So you want this to be 1 3/4 by 9. Okay, so here's the spine, and so yeah, it's well within its space, and it's not sticking out over the edge, so that's good. I'm trying to remember the order of things here. So we're going to glue this on with some Fabri-Tac. Okay, and I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it, center it. Doesn't have to be perfect, just have enough to overlap on each end and a little bit to go out on the side, so no worries on that. And then we're gonna glue this fold over here. And down here on this end. All right, so we're gonna put this in. Oh, one more thing, really, really important. Get your ribbon. And, you know, I can kind of see through that fabric on my Cap'n Crunch box, but I don't think it's going to matter in the end. Nobody will ever notice. But if that bothers you, if you have thinner fabric, watch out for that. And you can always put a piece of white paper under it. So we're going to get a ribbon to tie the journal in. So let me show it to you again. So you're going to pick a ribbon that comes through the grommet that will tie in the middle. So I am just going to use Snug and Hug or Hug and Snug, whatever it is. Try to find a piece that matches somewhat. That will work. So I'm going to use that. And so you're going to cut a piece big enough that it can go underneath here and then come down and then tie in a bow. So I'm going to cut this. I think this is going to work here. So let me try it and then I'll measure it and tell you. So let's see. Get the middle. So that'd go about there. Come up like this. Come down like this. And then come up like this. So these would be the amount you have to tie a ribbon with, or a bow, and I think that that will work. So this, well, I'll measure this off for you. 12, 24, and 10 would be 30, 34 inches. Okay, 34 inches. And so now we're going to put the grommets in. And so I'm going to use my, what is it, Crocodile? I don't like using it for grommets, but I like using it for punching holes. So, and I'm going to use the big hole punch. And you want these holes to be as close to the edges as you can get them, because you want to have plenty of room for your journal to fit in there. So like, I'm just going to eyeball it. Like say there, and there. And does that fit in between? Yeah, that gives you plenty of room for your journal. Okay, so I'm going to punch that hole out. And here. And then I use the old style grommet sets where you use a hammer and all that, because it comes in two pieces and I like to have that back on it. So this kind, you take a hammer and anyway, you put your grommet on there, and then wherever you want the pretty side to be, let me finish cutting that circle off there. That's where you want it. Like, I want the pretty side here, so I'm going to turn it over and put it down like this on top of that grommet and press it on there, and then get the circle Where did I put the circles? Underneath there, of course. And that goes on here. Now on this one it won't matter because this is going to be glued down, so this side won't show. But I'm going to push this down on there. And then you put this on top of it. Take a hammer. I've got this little bitty one. And there's that. And there's that side. So the same thing again. Put this pretty grommet side on there. Turn it over. Force it down on there. And I do have to kind of fiddle with it because I used my crocodile punch, and these grommets are not from that company, but it will work. I force it on, put my circle, and put this on top and hammer it. And there's our grommet. And this is what the set looks like I got on Amazon. It's just the, you know, very primitive, but also I think they look better, grommet set. So now we're ready to put our ribbon in it. Please don't forget that part, because I have had to pull mine off because I forgot to put the ribbon in it. And thread it through the other side. And just so you know, I am going to try to put at least two videos a week on to make this journal. So it's going to take us a while to do it. So I'm sorry about that, but that's about as many as I can do. There might be 3 a week if I can get to it. But there will be at least 2. All right. And then you want to center it and tie your bow, I would guess. Would be a good idea just to keep those out of the way. And you don't have to tie them tight, but okay, so now we're ready to glue it into your frame. And then make sure you've got your design going the right side up. And then center your grommets on your spine and your cardboard on your spine too. And then pull it tight and glue it down. And we're going to glue paper over this so it won't show, so don't worry about that. All right. So there is the inside spine. And I'm going to stop here, and we'll continue on the next video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.